The Journey to the City of Promise. Chapter 1. The Clue to the City of Promise.
Mrs. Lydiana sat on a red bench, her wise eyes fixed on the group of teenagers standing before her.
The air was thick with anticipation as she prepared to give them the instructions for the journey that lay ahead. "You all will soon start your journey to the Promised Land," she began, her voice calm yet filled with gravity. The Promised Land is a place of rest, peace, enjoyment, and happiness. Many people desire to go there, but it takes a very long time to reach. However, I assure you, with faith, courage, and strength, you all can make it. You have 30 days to get to the Promised Land, and after 30 days, the gates will be closed forever. Alice, her brow furrowed with worry, was the first to speak. "Is it going to be a very hard journey?" Mrs. Lydiana nodded solemnly. "Yes, it will be very hard. You will climb mountains, jump rivers, scale walls, and even cross a volcano." "A volcano?" Diana exclaimed, her eyes wide with shock. "That's why I said it will be a very hard journey," Mrs. Lydiana replied, her gaze steady and reassuring. "But I promise, you all can make it through. There's only one thing you need: a strong mind, faith, and belief."
Felicia, her hands trembling slightly, spoke up. "Wow, I feel so scared." She paused, then asked, what about food? We could get hungry at any time." Mrs. Lydiana smiled gently. "On your way, you will find food. You will also come to the site of the sustained, where you can replenish. But remember, you must be very careful. Follow the map and the map alone. Do not stray or take shortcuts. Only go where the map directs you." Felicia, ever curious, looked around. "Where is the map? I guess I'm the one to hold it." With a slow, deliberate motion, Mrs. Lydiana opened a large, ancient box and pulled out a weathered map. She handed it to Felicia, who smiled and took it with both hands.
"Make sure you follow the map, and the map alone," Mrs. Lydiana warned. "It is the only way that leads to the Promised Land. In 2 hours, your journey will begin. Make sure you aren't deceived." Alice's curiosity got the better of her again. "Apart from what you've already mentioned, is there anything else we should expect?" Mrs. Lydiana's expression darkened slightly. "Yes," she said gravely. "You will face worse dangers. Deceivers and wicked men will appear out of nowhere, trying to stop you from reaching the Promised Land." "But why?" Diana asked, confused.
Mrs. Lydiana sighed. "Because they don't want good for anyone. This world is full of trouble, pain, sorrow, and tears. But the Promised Land heals all wounds and ends all suffering. Those deceivers and wicked people only want to see others suffer like they do. If they had the chance to get to the Promised Land, they wouldn't be there to stop you. But it's too late for them. Their wickedness has locked them out forever."
Diana nodded, determination in her voice. "It sounds difficult, but I believe we can make it to the Promised Land." Felix, his voice quiet yet resolute, added, "It's really dangerous and risky, but what choice do we have? The Promised Land is our home and destination. I'm tired of all the suffering we face every day." Mrs. Lydiana rose from the bench, her final words hanging in the air. "You should all start preparing now. In 2 hours, your journey will begin. Remember my words and follow the map carefully. I've done all I can for you." She turned, her voice softening. "Safe journey to the Promised Land." "Thank you, Mrs. Lydiana," they all said in unison, their voices filled with hope and gratitude. She smiled once more before turning away and disappearing into the distance. The group stood there, the weight of the journey ahead resting on their shoulders. What will their journey be like? Will they be able to face the trials that will come their way in the journey? Most importantly, would they make it to the City of Promise? Find out what happens next in Chapter 2 of The Journey to the City of Promise. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Bye for now.